That's right. That's what I think. I think the international community made a huge commitment 2 years ago in Nagoya. We agreed on the agenda for this decade with 20 global targets for biodiversity, and we agreed on two protocols. So I think the agenda is set. The problem now is really put in place all the means necessary to support the implementation. So implementation now is the real challenge, and we need to mobilize in a cooperative way all the capabilities out there to help push the agenda in all countries.
There seems to be a lot of frustration. You talked yesterday at the opening ceremony, as did the Assistant Secretary General of UNEP. A lot of frustration with countries who perhaps 2 years down the line are pulling back on those commitments they made. What can you do? What can other parties do to ensure these are kept to?
Well, we fully recognize that many countries are facing a financial crisis now for several years, and unfortunately this will continue. My appeal is that countries need to see the expenditures on biodiversity as investment, not as cost, because these will bring returns to society, environmental benefits, social benefits, economic benefits. So we need to stress this, and also there's a huge cost of inaction, of not delivering. And it will be much more costly in the future to try to deal with these biodiversity issues. And biodiversity should not be seen just as a problem. It has to be seen as an opportunity. At Rio Plus 20, there has been a push for sustainable development, and biodiversity has been recognized as one of the drivers for sustainability. So we need to integrate more biodiversity in the broader sustainable development agenda.
You've just been taking part in a short talk in the Rio Pavilion. The urgency of this situation seems apparent there, particularly when one of the speakers was talking about global fisheries and how, particularly around India, fish are leaving. They're going towards the poles. Is this urgency really appreciated, do you feel, by governments?
I think we have a problem here because, unfortunately, I think most of society does not appreciate the urgency. So many people agree that yes, we need to conserve biodiversity, but they think this is a problem far from their daily lives. And I think we have to convey much more that the livelihoods of people, our daily subsistence in terms of access to water, access to food, access to clean air, a number of other things that we take it for granted are being challenged by the loss of biodiversity. So we take it for granted, but we shouldn't. So I think there's a real issue of providing better this message to the whole population and to different sectors of governments that there is a real urgency.
Final question. A lot of the issues discussed here appear to be similar to issues discussed perhaps at the climate talks and particularly at the Rio Plus 20 summit, which I know you attended. Do you think that perhaps the CBD forum, which appears to be slightly less politically toxic to many parties, could now and in the future perhaps be a more productive forum, shall we say, in trying to address some of the key environmental issues that the world is facing at the moment?
I hope so, and we had a good demonstration 2 years ago with the results coming out from Nagoya. But at the same time, the CBD, the biodiversity agenda, faces some similar challenges that the climate change agenda faces, the agenda of land degradation and the need to combat desertification. So there are commonalities, and we should explore more the synergy. So we should not try to promote these agenda separately as if they were in silos. No, there are a lot of synergies that we need to better explore, and we need to really identify better the win-win solutions and really work hard on them. If we don't give a strong push now for implementation, we will not meet the 20 Aichi targets in 2020, which is only 8 years from now.
And just a sentence needed for this question. What's your bottom line? What are you expecting to achieve this time next Friday?
Well, I expect good outcomes in all our negotiations. There are many issues being discussed. I think we had good preparations. I think delegations are coming here in good spirit and being very constructive. So I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to having good results.